The second of the kaiju PvE bosses has been unleashed. For those of you who are new to the game or unaware of what PvE is, this is a kind of multiplayer format where people team up together in order to take on a boss. This has been done with Critical Role, seen some of the most iconic legends and enemies of Critical Role, including the Wedding Crasher for Jester and Ford. It's also had other iterations, and we've previously had Gigan come in with these 4 attack matters, constantly dealing damage, and it's a very cool format. It's a great way for new players to get used to the game and understand how their attacks work and how the structure of a turn works, whilst relying on their party to help take down the boss. I'm quickly going to go over the rules of PvE for people that are new and are not quite aware as to what PvE is. So you'll have a number of players, and the health total of the boss will reflect how many players are taking them on. You shuffle your deck as normal, but instead of just starting out your turn, you will reveal the top 10 cards of your deck, build up to 3 foundations from among them, and then shuffle your deck back up. Following on from there, each player will then draw their opening hand and take a second player mulligan. This means you can selectively mulligan any number of cards in your hand, shuffle, redraw that many, and then shuffle your deck back up. The combat phase starts, and you decide who is going to take the lead, who is going to be your party leader for that turn. In following turns, that party leader will change. The same person cannot be the first player after those turns, and each take a turn playing a card or passing. And after each player has played a card or passed, the boss will activate. After every player passes and chooses not to play anything, the boss will have a retaliation. This is where they attack against every single player, and these activations are not to be taken lightly. These are some very powerful activations in PvE. Following on from that, every boss has an agility and a toughness. If your attack speed is below the agility of the boss, then your attack's damage is reduced by the toughness before it deals damage. This can be manipulated as a great way to stop retaliations against you, because if you deal 10 or more damage to a boss in a single attack, you will take an instant retaliation from that boss. If your attack also has its damage reduced through this toughness, it's considered partially blocked, which can play into how some cards work. The only other thing to remember after that is any player can also block for any other player. So when Gigan or any boss retaliates against you, if you're unable to block it, another player may step in and block it for you, but they will lose 1 health for doing that. Other than that, when you are and I keep forgetting, but one last thing, it's on the actual screen, but I'm forgetting. And when you're playing an attack, or when you're playing an attack, each other player may play 1 enhance during your attack, and you may play 1 enhance during your opponent's attacks. There's also some advanced rules where stun will burn health off the opponents, off the boss. And if the attacks get below 50 health, which has been changed from half health, each attack gets +1/+1. Now, we've already had a great time against Gigan, and Gigan is one that I absolutely love, but we've now got the king of monsters themselves. This is the next level. This is more difficult than we saw with Gigan. Godzilla gets 30 health per cat player, has some high impact attacks, what we see from here, starts the game with 3 power tokens in play. Whenever Godzilla activates or its attack resolves, it generates a power token, and if they retaliate against a player who has 15 or more health, they sacrifice a power token to get 2 additional damage. So on retaliation, when you're at full health, unless you're playing Ghidorah, Emperor of the Cosmos, the 1 to 2 dice roll is bringing at you a 6/6. The 3 to 4 is bringing you a 3/10, and the 5 and 6 are bringing at you 5 9s. This is an absolutely nasty boss, and those power tokens are going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. And then on top of that, we have the activations. 6 abilities that they get after each player, like I said, has played a card or passed throughout the combat phase before you decide to end the turn. On a roll of 1, Godzilla's toughness cannot be prevented, so even if you get your attack speed above agility, it's always going to be -5 damage. Absolutely brutal. And if you do not deal damage, and each time a player does not deal damage to Godzilla, they generate a power token. If 3 power tokens are Generated this way, Godzilla gets a free retaliation against anyone. So if you roll a 1, you need to attack Godzilla. If you're in a 4-player game, 2 people need to attack Godzilla, or else everyone's going to get attacked, and these retaliation attacks are not to be scoffed at. If you roll a 2 with the sweeping tail trip, Godzilla retaliates against each player and generates 2 power tokens. Roll on a 3, the Savage Stomp. Each player with the player with the most health sacrifices 1 foundation and gets retaliated against. The Brutal Kaiju Bite is the activation on a 4. Godzilla retaliates against the last player to deal damage to them. Godzilla also sacrifices 2 power tokens to get 1 speed for each sacrifice token. And then on a 5, total destruction of the city. Each player sacrifices 1 foundation. If they sacrificed a foundation with difficulty of 0, they sacrifice an additional foundation, and Godzilla generates 1 power token for each sacrificed foundation. So face downs will count as this. If you sacrifice a face down, Godzilla gets additional power tokens, so he's going to be hitting you hard every single time. And then unleash the heat ray, roll a 6, sacrifice all power tokens that Godzilla has. The players lose X health distributed among how they choose. X is equal to double the power tokens played. So if you have 20 power tokens, that's 40 damage coming at any number of players, how we decide. It adds a bit more politics, a bit more discussion into it, and it has to go with a bit more tactics. But that is an absolutely insane ability that you don't get to interact with. There is no answers on here. This is going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited to see how people are going to deal with this in Chicago. I'm going to go head over to the UK Discord, see if I can find some people who want to take on Godzilla, and I cannot wait to see what Ghidorah is going to do. If this is not the most challenging, I shudder to think what Ghidorah is going to do, because this already seems hard enough to deal with as it is, but apparently Ghidorah is going to be so much worse and so much more controlling, to the point where some people have not yet got a W against Ghidorah, I hear. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know in the comments below if you are excited to play PvE against Godzilla. I'm really excited to get a deck together and take on Godzilla and see if we can find some kaijus that can take down the King of Monsters. Let me know what you're going to be playing, and I will catch you all at game night. Remember, for Theories, News and more, win, lose or draw, keep it UniVersus. Bye.